Hello and welcome to another episode of Marketing for Financial Advisors. I'm your host today, Donovan Stull. Joined with me is David Michalski. David is an employee of Advisors Platform here with us. He's one of our marketing coordinators. David, happy to have you on here with us and be able to join in and chat a little marketing.
I appreciate the chance to do this. Every day I get the chance to talk to different advisors and find out what's working, what's not working, and what they're looking for, and kind of give them the idea of, I think what the topic here is, what's the difference between marketing and sales. So
yeah, and that's such a great topic there. And David, you're in the trenches a lot talking to these advisors, and you're asking the questions. Hey, how can we help, or what's working for you, what's not working for you? And I think a lot of advisors, in talking about that marketing versus sales, that they tend to sort of, and I don't want to come across as blunt or rude to any advisor out there, so let me preface that, but I think a lot of the times that advisors come across as like, hey, I know all the ins and outs of the marketing in addition to our sales process. And you're probably seeing that a lot of, hey, advisor A, I know all of this stuff, I know what works, I know what doesn't work. And that might be true to a degree, but overall, do you think, David, that most advisors are better at sales or the marketing side of things?
It's definitely the sales side of things. And the analogy I always use when I talk to an advisor is, we all watch television, we all listen to podcasts, we all listen to radio, we all hear the ads, see the marketing, things that are out there. I mean, how many commercials do we see for Ford F-150s? But it's a marketing campaign and an advertising campaign. It's not a sales campaign. You still have to go to the showroom and talk to that salesperson, and that salesperson closes the deal. And I think a lot of the confusion comes in with advisors is that they think we're the sales team, and again, I don't drive a Ford. So how many times have I seen that commercial and I still don't own a Ford? And so I think a lot of times people see these things and think marketing and also think it's a guarantee that, I'm going to put this out there and I should have 1,000 phone calls or 1,000 emails. And that's just not the case. That's why it's marketing and advertising versus closing the deal. So I think, to me, that's the biggest hurdle in talking with advisors, is kind of getting them to step back and say, oh yeah, you're right. Like I've seen that commercial a million times, and yet I've not walked into the showroom to buy anything, or I don't know the last time I was in Target to buy this and that. So that to me is the biggest gotcha with marketing.
No, and that's such a good point, and we've talked about our, before that, overall marketing with advisors is, it's not a one-stop, shop. Like, there's no one marketing piece that is ever a guarantee or 100% for any advisor, right? I mean, you go back 10, 15 years, an advisor could send out 5,000 pieces of mail and get, 3 nights totally full for a dinner event. Whereas now you maybe have to send out 10,000 pieces and hope that you get 2 nights filled. So things just change and adapt, over time. When Facebook marketing really started taking off, you could spend pennies on the dollar to get in front of the audience that you want and get people to register for an event or a download or something like that. It was grossly underpriced. And now, I think Facebook marketing probably is right about where it needs to be right now, based on just the spend and kind of, how money is allocated. But I think a lot of people just don't take the time to think of all those different marketing funnels of, having to constantly do it over and over and over again. And you use that great analogy of like the car commercials, and, you have a team who is building all the marketing pieces to get the right people in front of the salesperson. So you have to have a really good marketing eye to say, okay, I know what appeals to said 55 plus certain amount of assets living with this particular, area here. If I'm marketing to people in Denver, Colorado, where they are used to mountains and their retirement is, the ski lodge every single weekend, I'm not going to use images of the beach or things of that nature that, doesn't appeal to those ones. So you have to kind of just think like, while the white sand beaches and that's your pension plan, that's your retirement. Sounds great to a lot of the country. That's probably not going to work in that particular, area of the country. So overall, I think that with, advisors, you have to just take that step back and think, okay, what does a good marketing team, look like? I think for a lot of advisors, outsourcing to third parties makes a lot of sense. If you're not able to bring someone in-house, I think that is a good point. But one of the biggest pros of hiring a third party, you're good at the sales part, right? That's what you're good at. Let the marketing team handle the marketing side. But is every marketing company going to be, good for you? David, you've seen the different companies that are out there, a lot of the different third parties that do different things. Is it safe to say that that one particular company can fulfill every advisor's marketing needs?
Absolutely not. I mean, you pretty much nailed it right there. I mean, go back a couple of things. Is the marketing people know what's working, right? And you said it. I mean, the times are changing and changing very quickly. And having the marketing person or the marketing team right there in the trenches that understands that things are moving quickly. And like you said, you could do mailers before, but it's not working now. And the Facebook ads and, what's next? I mean, the Snapchats and the TikToks and what's going to come after that in the world. But
are you doing dances right now to promote any company?
Yeah, that would be my teenage daughters. I'm out. I'm out. There's not a chance in the world of TikTok is going to see this face anytime soon. So, and so, like you said, to me, in the marketing world, if somebody's going to, and this is coming in what you're talking about, the third parties and the different companies, if somebody's going to offer me a guarantee, I'm not buying it, because marketing there's no guarantee. There's no guarantee in marketing and sales. So, if going with companies and like you said, there's not a one shop fits all kind of thing. I mean, it's, there are some some advisors, I think, that like the big companies and yep, this is the box I fit in and let's let them run with it. They have a great track record. I know they're going to put butts in seats for seminars. Great. Or do I work with a smaller advertising kind of marketing company where I know I'm going to get the handheld? I know I'm going to get when I send out an email or make, schedule, I'm going to get the information I want. Like I'm not going to get pushed aside. I'm not going to get pushed to a junior person who's new at this, so it really comes down to, like you said, though, marketing. And that's why there's so many marketing companies in the world. It's not a one-stop shop. I mean, again, and you're going to have personalities that don't always see eye to eye and things like that. But yeah, and one of the other things that I see a lot of too, and I know you do as well, Donovan, and you've seen this over the years, is you get the advisors who are wonderful at being financial advisors, and then they say, well, yeah, I'm bringing my son or daughter on board to be the marketing person, or my wife's going to be the marketing person. Well, what experience do they have? Well, yeah, they're on social media all the time, and it kind of cracks me up, because again, this is the idea of putting yourself out there to potential clients. And to me, why wouldn't you want to have a firm or a company that specializes in this rather than having, it's like, oh, we're going to save some money by having this, or my daughter just graduated college with a marketing degree. Fantastic. That's amazing. But where's the years of experience? And again, with things changing as quickly as they do. So to me, it's, and I cannot tell you how many advisors I talk to that I get that exact same scenario from.
And, it's not even necessarily that it's the wrong thing to do. Yeah. A lot of us do use different types of social media to a varying degree. I'm not saying that everybody has to be on it 24/7 to understand it or know it, but, I think that we've seen it a lot too, where, hey, yep, I just hired this brand new person. They just graduated XYZ university and they are coming in with all this great marketing knowledge. That's fantastic. Having a general marketing overview is really, really good, because it does help you understand it, right? Understand the nuances of TV versus radio versus print versus digital. That's fantastic, right? You should have a really good knowledge of all that all the way around. But if you don't know the nuances of the industry that you're working with, that changes everything, right? If you, like you said, hey, if I go to Ford right now and I'm going to be their new marketing person, and they tell me, hey, we need to sell this car, to the average consumer. Okay, perfect. And I go and I create, this really cool Facebook ad, and I'm like, well, we haven't had anyone buy a car yet. Okay, well, let's take a look at the ads. And it's just something sort of generic. You're like, well, I know how to create the ads, but I don't know who my audience is. I don't know how to speak to, the person who wants a Ford. And, those demographics could vary from location to location, from a farmer to someone who just wants a truck just to have a truck. It doesn't matter what that demographic is, but you have to understand it in each different parts. I can't just throw a blanket marketing piece out there and hope for the best, with that. So yeah, understanding the nuances and working with a company that actually knows what your industry is about. Absolutely. Right. I mean, if I were looking for, a company to advertise for, Starbucks, right? I'm here with my Starbucks cup and everyone pretty much knows this logo, right? So how are we going to get people to attract to that? I'm going to find someone who's maybe worked with bigger companies before, or maybe someone who's like, hey, I know how to brand specific industries, or like, that's what we want to talk about. And you said something else, backing up here. So you said, hey, if someone says I can offer you this guarantee, it already sounds a little skeptical, right? It's really hard to do that. And I think one of the cons of working with third-party marketing companies is that some forms of there's a large upfront cost without any guaranteed results, right? And I think that's just going to be part of it. But how many times, David, have you seen advisors say, I don't want to do social media because, it costs too much money and we never get any return, yet they've been on the TV or radio for the last 5-10 years, spending an ungodly amount of money per month. And, it probably is working for them now, but how long did it take for them to start getting their first clients?
Well, exactly. And that's the thing, is everybody thinks it's an overnight sensation because that's the world we live in. Again, I hate to use a car reference, but let's tune into whatever the car channel is, Moto Trend or whatever. And oh, by the way, we just redid this, 69 Camaro in 44 minutes. Yeah, no, that thing sat in the shop for 2.5 years.
Right.
But they edited it down to 45 minutes. And I'm like, wait a minute, they just built this car in come on now. And so like everybody wants it now. And I think that's the world we live in, is everybody expects it now, where that's not the case. I mean, especially as an advisor, I'm giving you my money to look after my best interest and provide for my family. I got to get to know you. If I don't trust you, you're not getting a penny of my money. So I need to see things over time that'll say, okay, yeah, I want to meet this person. I want to eventually have a conversation with this person so that they can look after my future and my family's future. Seeing a little ad every once in a while or getting a mailer, it's not going to work. I'm sorry. You're not going to get anything from me. But yeah, I mean, and it's the same. Listen, I'm not an advisor. I don't know the first thing about financial advising, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to tell my kids how to do, where to put their money, and I'm not going to take advice from somebody who's not an advisor. So it's like, why? So when it comes to marketing, it's like, why are we taking advice, or why are we getting, this is how it should be done from somebody who doesn't do this for a living?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're going to call an electrician because you have a plumbing problem? Probably not. But
right. Yeah, they may have dabbled in it before, but that doesn't mean that they know it or are as skilled. And and I think to reiterate, we're not coming here to these advisors trying to, talk down, to anybody and say, look, you're doing it wrong. You don't need to be doing marketing, because there are some advisors who have done marketing in the past. And I'm aware of some of you advisors who might be, watching or listening to this, that, we've had discussions and you've done marketing in the past, even for bigger firms before transitioning into the sales and the advising side. And that's great. So this is not just we're, condemning all of you advisors who try to do marketing. But I think overall though, it's like, you have to think there are just some things that maybe you had that one time where it's like, ooh, I'm going to use this piece because the one time that we did it, it worked and it was a huge success. Great. That mailer that you used with the stake on it, and you got 50 households to register over 2 nights, and it was great, and you had so many people in there. That's fantastic. But then you say, we need to do that again. And you do it and it's a total bust. And you're like, okay, well, what happened? Well, hey, mailer says, really what we're seeing great right now is if you use something that looks like this instead. Perfect. We use this. And the advisor says, no, I want to use that stake because it worked really well last time. Mailhouse says, no, this is our recommendation. But you know what? Okay, fine. We will take your advice and do it. And then what happens, right? Advisor's upset because we didn't have a good turnout. Marketing company comes back and says, well, this is what we had suggested. So don't you think that maybe we could look at this? And it creates a little bit of a messy thing there. These companies, they do this for a living, right? Whether it's TV or radio or mailers or digital marketing companies, they do this all day, every day with hundreds of advisors all over the nation, right? Phoenix, Chicago, Florida, New York, Pennsylvania, California, Kansas, Texas, everywhere in between. All of these different markets, right? They're all different. Everything's going to appeal slightly different to everybody else. But we can say national average, we're seeing this really works well. Or, hey, we're getting a really good ROI by doing this. Or, hey, the national average cost per signup is XYZ in this particular market, but somehow in this market over here, it's way cheaper. All we can do is just, provide that knowledge and say, this is what seems to be working. But there's no guarantee in any marketing at all. But I think taking the opportunity to really analyze the difference between marketing versus sales, advisors, you guys are so good at sales, right? That's why they come to you. But allow the marketing piece to be just that, right? I mean, if you said, look, I don't need to hire someone in person, right? I don't have to go through payroll. I don't have to worry about training them. I don't need to worry about taxes or benefits or employee oversights that they might make. Would you be willing then to outsource to a third marketing company, even if it's a little bit cheaper, maybe even about the same of what an employee might be? I mean, that would seem almost like a no-brainer sometimes, right?
My adage is always, you get what you pay for. So if you want the experience, then, and you want the people who, like you said, who are in the trenches, then that's what you do. That's who you get. Like, it kind of blows my mind sometimes. And I look at this, and this is not just marketing. I look at this across everything. I just said it, but you get what you pay for. And if I'm looking to market something that, a product or something like that I have, or a service, I'm going to go to the people in the industry that do this day in and day out, because I don't even know how to invent the wheel, let alone try and reinvent the wheel if I'm the one who has to market this product or service that I have. And again, my money is made by the service or product I have, not me marketing. So the amount of time and energy that I'm putting into marketing my services or product should be used, whatever it is. If I'm a financial advisor, then I should be looking at closing deals, following up with my clients, finding out what's working, yes. And to kind of go back a little bit though, in talking about the mailers and the whole digital difference between that and digital marketing. And I explain this all the time, is that mailer goes out, you're done, right? Like you said, I'm basing it's going to work based on the color choices that they've done or the images they put. But I have no idea what happened to that mailer once it went out. But the analytics you get with social media marketing and how on a daily basis you can go in and see what's working, what's not working. Oh, well, then let's make a change here. Or these are how much these ads are costing me to put a butt in the seat over here. Like, to me, that's phenomenal, as
Of
opposed to
course.
sending out those 10,000 mailers and I have no idea what happened from here. So,
Right.
um,
Yeah. No, that's such a solid point there.
yeah, but I agree with you. Like, if I'm going to do anything in the business world, yes, I should know about it. But that's not my area of specialty.
Hmm.
My job is to sell, myself as a financial advisor, and that's what I should be doing. And I should let the marketing and the advertising and the accounting people and everyone, the HR people, do their jobs.
Right. No, that's
So,
such a clear cut point, and I've used the expression before. It's like you can hire anyone, part of your company, right? You have, like you said, you have HR, you have accounting, you have secretary, you have person who's on the whatever. You have so many different facets in your industry. As the business owner, right? Your president, CEO, your lead financial advisor. That's great. You do not need to know how to do every last person's job to the fullest, but you should have some idea of what it involves, right? So if you're going to hire a new secretary, I don't need you to know how to do, Excel from start to finish. Leave that to the secretary. You may have an idea of it, but hey, if secretary says, look, I'm good at, Microsoft products and I can do Word and Excel and PowerPoints and all that, and I know how to answer the phone and talk to people, that's great. Having a loose idea of what they do, what their job entails, but you don't need to micromanage at that point and say, okay, I need to know how to do all of this last stuff before I can say this person is going to be good or not. And yeah, it's there are going to be times where you are taking a gamble with certain, marketing companies and so forth. But I think overall, that's the beauty of doing, marketing with third party companies, is that you get to try a little bit of something. And if you want to pull the plug early, typically you can. You made the mention of sending out a mailer. Hey, once you send that mailer out, it's done. You don't get to go back and make revisions, or you get to go back and, hey, say, well, let's go ahead and stop spending as amount. Nope. Money spent, right? No guarantee on how many mailers might actually respond one way or another. And again, nothing guaranteed in marketing, but overall, just understand, kind of what those biggest differences are for, for marketing versus sales. So I would just advisors, keep your mindset open. Talk to and interview all the different, third party companies. If you have someone in your office that is doing marketing and maybe they're not up to speed on the digital side, consider talking to a company that offers training, right? If they offer training on how to do this, hey, we're in the trenches. This is exactly, what we teach people how to do, and we teach them to do it the exact way that, we're doing it. Consider that as an option. Don't skimp out on training, right? If you want your employees to, do better, offer them the training that's available to them. I think there's a lot of good options there. But David, thank you for being on here today. Really appreciate it. I know that this can definitely be one of those topics that a little hard pressing, but advisors, we're not here to talk down. We just want to help encourage and open up your eyes a little bit.
yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing, is I'm not going to call somebody and give them financial advice. And that's, and so like you said, not trying to be blunt and trying to be overly sensitive, but like I said, at the same time, I'm not giving out financial advice. So I'm when it comes to the whole marketing thing, it's take a step back. Okay, what am I trying to accomplish here? Yep, I want to get my name out there. I want to get my brand out there. I want to get my image out there. I want to get start the process or continue the process of getting people to believe in me and trust in me and their future. And what's it going to take for me to make that happen? And again, it's not a short-term fix, or it's not an overnight sensation that people are just going to open up their wallets and give you their money. It's a process, and it's going to take time. And I think if people understand that, then the time that it takes and having a good team around them, whether it's internally or a third party, is what it's all about. So, yep, that's Yeah, and I look forward to talking with with more people who want to learn more about this stuff. So
Yeah, no, we certainly appreciate it. I think if we could sum up this whole thing, it's know your strengths and weaknesses, know what you're good at, know what you're not good at, and hire the people who are able to take care of your weaknesses for you.
I 100% agree with you.
Awesome. Well, David, thank you again. Everyone who's listening, we appreciate you being on another episode of Marketing for Financial Advisors, and we look forward to seeing you next time.